Zero Company is a turn-based tactics game coming in 2026, and recent hands-on previews have given us the most detailed look yet at how it actually plays. This video covers the full combat system, the action point economy, the advantage resource, permadeath, and what happens between missions. By the end you'll know exactly how our Zero Company campaign works. If you're new here, subscribe for Zero Company coverage as it comes. Core combat is turn-based, viewed from an isometric perspective, and you deploy a squad of 4 characters per mission. 2 resources govern everything you do in combat: action points and advantage. Every character has exactly 3 action points per turn. Movement and actions draw from the same pool, with movement cost scaling by distance. It's compared to Fallout or Divinity Original Sin rather than Baldur's Gate 3's separate movement and action economy. You have to decide between spending points to reach a flanking position, or taking a shot from where you stand. Advantage is a separate shared squad-wide resource pool. You earn advantage points by attacking enemies, and you spend them on special abilities independent of your AP. Advantage abilities don't consume action points. Each class has an ultimate ability requiring a large advantage spend, but smaller tactical abilities are available too. Hawks can spend advantage to refresh 1 AP for any squad mate once per turn. This means a character like Trick could open his turn with an advantage fueled rocket attack and still have his full 3 AP remaining for a heavy blaster salvo. 1 turn, 2 resource tracks, both active. Cover works on an accuracy percentage system. Hit chance and damage are displayed against each target before you commit. Overwatch zones punish enemy movement. If a target walks into one, you attack first. Telrail's Forge Push can reposition enemies into these zones deliberately, cutting their turn short. The game features 12 total character classes divided into 2 categories. There are 8 standard classes: Assault, Sharpshooter, Medic and others, which any character can swap to via a respec. Then there are 4 exotic classes, locked to specific characters. The Jedi Padawan class is exclusive to Telray of Okos. The Mandalorian Warrior class is exclusive to Klai Calvo. When respect, characters retain their signature abilities regardless of class. Klai keeps her jetpack as a sharpshooter. Jay Mordant's random finishing blow assist, compared to PC Gamer to Fallout's Mysterious Stranger, persists through respec. Hawk's AP refresh persists as well. Permadeath applies to everyone except Hawks. It's not instant. Characters sustain injuries when downed in combat, which persist between missions and cost credits to treat. Accumulate 3 injuries and a character dies permanently. The story continues without them.
A character as beloved as Cab Uppercut, or one-armed Felshi Boxer, he can just catch a blaster bolt and be gone.
In the field you'll be fighting the Infinite Coil, whose members are infected with the Shadow Plague. This directly impacts the gameplay loop. When you kill an Infinite Coil cultist, their spirit floats off to buff a nearby ally. These ghost power stacks accumulate with each kill. If a recipient receives too many, they go berserk and transform into a mini-boss. It turns combat into a puzzle where you must carefully manage enemy health bars, so only weakened enemies receive the berserk transformation. You can't blindly eliminate targets without planning for who receives the buff next. Between combat missions you return to your base of operations at the Den. The campaign runs on a cycle system which advances every time you complete a combat mission. Before you end a cycle you can perform operations. These are non-combat text-based adventure sequences used to gather intelligence. They present narrative choices with trade-offs, bribing a target or starting a cantina brawl that risks injury to whoever you sent. Operations are also how you manage enemy difficulty. Each cycle you choose which of 2 permanent power-ups an enemy type will not receive, and run a mission to prevent it. Ignore operations and enemy receive both upgrades. Story missions feature multiple separate combat encounters connected by third-party exploration segments. Before combat begins, you have full third-person action-adventure controls of Hawks, which the developers compared to Jedi Fallen Order. The bond system builds through combat. Call for backup is a confirmed ability that grants an extra attack and simultaneously develops bonds between the operators involved. Offensive play directly strengthens squad relationships. Even characters with narrative antagonism, Trick and Luco, have a direct history at the Battle of Umbara, can develop combat bonds by fighting side by side.
You're not a lone hero, kind of like standing up against the world, felling enemies but with a swing of your blade. You're a relatively ordinary person. You're leading a tactical squad, you're leading an organization, but you have to make them work together in order to achieve a goal. It's the fantasy of leading a squad and a management and organization. You experience the story directly. You're not a removed figure, you're there. I felt when I came on board the project that was intrinsic to making this a satisfying Star Wars story. That's who we empathize with, the people who kind of like get dirty and are boots on the ground with it. So that's why Hawks has that role.
Punishing tactical layer, high-stakes permadeath, and a cycle-based intelligence system driving the campaign. All of it built by a team of 20 XCOM veterans. Is there a system you want a deeper breakdown on? Let me know below. Subscribe for more Zero Company coverage.